10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
The 1990s were a decade of memorable music and musicians. From Seattle's grunge scene with bands like Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and Soundgarden, to mainstream R&B and hip-hop acts like Destiny's Child, TLC, and Dr. Dre, music history will forever think fondly of the 1990s. But despite their notoriety, very few of the iconic bands from the 1990s are still together. In this episode of VH1's Behind the Music, we spotlight the Valentes, the powerhouse musical duo that celebrates their 20th anniversary tour this year and shows no signs of slowing down. Although this duo has sat atop the charts for the last 2 decades, their individual beginnings started out very different. For Kelly, just a small-town girl from Bradford, Tennessee, her musical influences had their roots in gospel, country, and classic rock. The Gaither Vocal Band, Gold City, and the Oak Ridge Boys held Kelly close to her Southern Baptist upbringing. But she knew every word from every classic country song by working nights at Bradford's Shortstop. However, there is no greater musical influence in Kelly's life than her favorite band, Journey, and her first love, Steve Perry. Kelly's instrument is her voice, and she began honing that instrument from an early age. For Steven, a city boy born and raised just outside of Detroit, his musical influences were formed at an early age by his father, a bass player who played early with notable bands like Ted Nugent, Bob Seger, and later with Springwell and the Ellsworth Davis Group. Although Steven's interests and influences span almost every musical genre, he gravitated to both rock and heavy metal. He was drawn at a very early age to the drums, fashioning his playing after legends like Led Zeppelin's John Bonham, Def Leppard's Rick Allen, and Metallica's Lars Ulrich. In the late 1980s and into the early 90s, Kelly was a member of the world-famous West Tennessee vocal act, Encore, part of the Kincaid Studios stable from Bells, Tennessee. While the quartet was most widely known on the regional circuit, Kelly was also making a name for herself as both a solo artist and in the Miss America organization. For Steven, in 1991 he left the Motor City and moved to Music City, where he joined the Christian act Rock Solid. However, in 1994, while attending Middle Tennessee State University, Steven started a successful power trio, the Hours of Collection. Their studio album, Love is Free If You Can Pay the Price, topped college radio, and the band found success in Nashville's club and fraternity scenes. Although their paths had crossed for several years, it wasn't until a mutual friend formally introduced the couple in the spring of 1996 that they actually met. The two began casually collaborating, off and on, throughout 1996, however remained dedicated to their previous projects until late 1997. Although still considered a solo act, Steven signed a deal with Campbell Soup Records in May of 1998 and moved to Knoxville, Tennessee. Steven found himself in and out of the spotlight, producing a series of projects, including an aspiring country artist that just so happened to be Kelly's brother, Kevin. However, it wasn't long before both Steven and Kelly finally decided to leave their previous projects, and on November 21st, 1998, the duo made it official. Accompanied by much industry hype, pomp, and circumstance, the newly formed Valentes celebrated their monumental decision, and their family, their friends, and their fans did too. It was an evening to remember, and one the world of music will never soon forget. Their first international gig was in Montego Bay, Jamaica, in support of their new project, and the couple's first EP, Scarlet, was released in December of 1998. In 1999, the couple began a 2-year residency in Chicago and spent several years writing and experimenting with new material, as well as touring to support their first EP. On September 10, 2001, the duo relocated back to a suburb of Music City, Hendersonville, and began work on their most adventurous project to date. After a year in the studio, on April 1, 2003, the Valentes released their first studio album, Bella Grace. Bella Grace was an overnight success, full of creativity and beauty, and solidified the couple's commercial appeal. After a brief residency in Philadelphia supporting the first album, in April of 2004, the couple signed with Boston Scientific Records, moving to Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City, and home of Hitsville, USA. This undoubtedly was the break that would propel them to the top of the charts for years to come. Immediately upon returning to Detroit, the Valentes were signed to play a festival with an all-star band, which included Kevin Campbell. That band was booked under the name The Family Jewels. That success led the Family Jewels to headlining both festivals and special events for years to come. During their residency in Detroit, the duo released 2 more studio albums in quick succession. Ava May was released in March of 2005, and Jack Thomas in May of 2006. From its first track, any casual listener can see Ava May was full of passion and fire, but its second side is noticeably heartwarming and compassionate. It immediately climbed to the top of the charts and has been certified platinum. As for Jack Thomas, its tracks start out much more calm and easygoing versus Ava May, but definitely has that noticeable Valente fire on certain tracks. Over the years, Jack Thomas has solidified itself as a #1 hit record, like the 2 previous studio releases, and continues to be as popular today as it was in 2006. With the release of 3 chart-busting albums in less than 4 years, the duo had more than enough material to keep their touring schedule busy. Long days and sleepless nights on the road, supporting all 3 albums, could have taken a toll on any average band, but not the Valentes. Stephen is often quoted as saying, "Without Kelly, there's no doubt that all of this would have been too much to handle. She's definitely the rock in rock and roll." In the fall of 2006, the couple embarked on a 10-night Italian tour. Venice, Florence, Tuscany, and Rome. And in November of 2007, began their first residency in Las Vegas, celebrating their first 10 years. During that same time, Stephen was involved in a side project with several band members from the Family Jewels, including his father on bass. They formed Serious Jack. Serious Jack's stylistic differences and industry value garnered both critical acclaim and commercial success. Stephen's last show with Serious Jack was in September of 2009, and although Serious Jack is still together, no original members of the band exist today. In September of 2009, the couple signed with Getting Go Records, bringing them back to Music City, USA. This was a dream achievement for the couple, returning to the place where they started and where they could capitalize on Nashville's thriving music and entertainment scene. After years of touring to support the 3 albums, the duo decided that they had accumulated enough material to produce 1 more studio album. Much to Stephen's surprise, production did not take long, and on April 25, 2011, Carson Campbell was released to great fanfare. This album was full of artistic, witty material, a beautiful work across all tracks. It too hit #1 on the charts, joining the 3 previous albums as bona fide hits. The Valentes are celebrating a milestone that most bands these days cannot or will not ever achieve: 20 years of success and 4 chart-topping albums. And although the days of recording another studio album are over, you hear that, Kelly? No more studio albums. You can find them performing at legendary Nashville venues like Third and Lindsley, The Stage, and the Grand Ole Opry. They are never far away from the music scene that they have loved since their childhoods. These days, the Valentes are also in high demand for collaboration, both as solo artists and as a duo, with legendary artists across many genres. From rock and roll royalty like Def Leppard, Poison, Cinderella, and Foreigner, to country legends like Kenny Rogers, Alabama, and the Oak Ridge Boys, just to name a few. They all want to record with the Valentes when they visit Nashville. Over the last 2 years, the Valentes have released 2 EPs, Willie Lee in 2016, and most recently, Slash in 2018. The duo already have several key collaborations scheduled during the 20th anniversary tour, including one that Steven's been waiting for over 30 years, Metallica, in January of 2019. So, what's next for the Valentes? Only time will tell, but there's no doubt that this powerhouse musical duo has a future as bright as their last 20 years have been, and they are destined for the Hall of Fame.
Hey, Stephen and Kelly, and somebody told me it's your 20th anniversary, so happy anniversary.
Hey, Stephen Kelly, it is Janet Gardner from Vixen. I just want to wish you, I want to say congratulations on your 20th wedding anniversary. That's quite an accomplishment. And enjoy your celebration at the Hard Rock. And here's to another 20, 30, 40 or more years of not living on an edge of a broken heart. Have a good time. Mwah.
Kelly and Steven, just wanted to wish you guys a happy 20th anniversary tour, my friends. God bless you. Keep moving it, keep pushing it, keep playing it. Love you guys. Take care. God bless. Happy anniversary. See ya.
Yo, Stephen and Kelly, it's Tommy Lee from Motley fucking Crew. Wishing you guys a happy 20th anniversary. Wow, that's crazy, man. That's beautiful. And I don't even know what to say. Happy fucking anniversary. Yes, that's right.